Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today we're jumping right into a timeless fable, a brilliant little piece of source material that completely challenges everything we think we know about power, leadership, and influence. On the surface, sure, it's a story about a lion and an elephant, but honestly, it's a mirror reflecting our own human behaviors. If you've ever had to deal with an arrogant leader, or maybe you've just struggled to figure out your own personal value, This Explainer is going to give you some seriously grounded perspective. So, get comfortable, focus in, and let's get right into it. I want you to honestly ask yourself right now, what makes someone truly powerful? Is strength literally just physical dominance? Is it being the loudest person in the room, having the absolute biggest title, or just forcing others to do what you want? Or does genuine power require something much deeper than that? Kind of hold on to your answer as we go through this, because by the end of our time together today, this very simple question is going to take on a totally new dimension.
All right, setting the stage with Section 1. 2 major jungle characters.
We are dropping right into the heart of this dense, vibrant forest setting where the source material gives us two vastly different personalities. On one hand, we've got the lion. He's the self-proclaimed king of the jungle. He is the bravest, an absolute physical powerhouse, but, and this is key, he is driven primarily by ego. His entire identity is wrapped up in his brute strength. Now, on the other hand, we have the elephant. Yes, the elephant is massive in stature, undeniably strong in his own right, but he's defined by something fundamentally different, his quiet wisdom and his immense patience. The elephant doesn't need to roar to prove he exists, He is just inherently grounded.
Moving right along to Section 2. What is true strength?
So this is where the ideological clash between our two characters really takes off. And it's not a physical fight. Actually, it's a fundamental disagreement about what power truly means in the real world. The text tells us that one day, the lion struts right up to the elephant with just absolute arrogance. He puffs out his chest and declares, "I am the king of the jungle, no one is more powerful than me." I mean, that quote is just dripping with ego, right? The lion's worldview relies entirely on physical force and dominance. Basically, if he can beat you in a fight, he firmly believes he is superior to you. End of story. Let's put these two side by side. Looking at the lion's strength, we see pure physical force, an unchecked ego, and a huge reliance on that superficial title of king. But looking at the elephant's strength, we see mental wisdom, extreme patience, and what we would absolutely call today high emotional intelligence. The lion openly mocks the elephant's non-physical worldview. To the lion, patience isn't a strength at all, it's a weakness. Wisdom is just a fancy word for animals who can't fight.
Now, what is truly fascinating here is the elephant's response. He doesn't get angry. He doesn't trumpet loudly or try to step on the lion. He just smiles and drops this profound truth bomb. Strength isn't just in force. Wisdom and patience are also strength. He plants the seed right there. He is challenging the lion's fragile, ego-driven reality with this calm, unshakable truth. And honestly, this sets up the ultimate test of the whole story.
Which brings us to Section 3, the hunter's set trap.
Well, that theory is about to be tested in practice. The pacing of our story shifts big time right here. It gets incredibly urgent. Follow this timeline with me. Moments after these hunters set a massive, complex net in the jungle, our proud lion comes sprinting through and gets completely ensnared. He is trapped. For minutes, he thrashes around, using absolutely every single ounce of that physical brute force he was just bragging about. He bites, he claws, he pulls, but it totally fails. The harder he fights, the more tangled up he gets. Until finally, the supposedly unmatched king of the jungle is literally crying out loudly for help. His physical strength is rendered utterly useless against this trap.
I want to pause on this absolutely critical turning point. Brute force fails when wisdom is required. The lion's entire worldview just collapsed in on itself. He realizes in real time that pure physical dominance has massive blind spots. I mean, you cannot punch your way out of a complex problem. You definitely can't intimidate a net. When the situation requires strategy, raw power is completely bankrupt.
Let's look at Section 4, the elephant's timely help.
So the elephant, miles away, hears these desperate cries echoing through the trees. And get this, despite how the lion treated him, despite the mocking and the arrogance, the elephant rushes to the scene. I love how analytical this next part is, so let's walk through the steps the elephant takes. Step 1, he arrives immediately. Notice he doesn't gloat. Step 2, he stops and actually assesses the hunter's net. He uses his intellect. He doesn't just thrash wildly like the lion did. Step 3, he uses his strong trunk and tusks strategically, applying pressure exactly where it's needed most. He perfectly applies his physical traits, but they're guided by his intellect and empathy. And finally, step 4. He breaks the net and successfully frees the lion. It is just an effortless application of true holistic power.
Moving to Section 5, the fall of arrogance.
This brings us to a really profound emotional shift in the narrative. The dust settles. The lion is free, but he isn't roaring in triumph. Instead, he stands there completely ashamed. His earlier arrogance has been totally dismantled. This crucial point is captured beautifully in a quote from the lion himself. He looks up at the elephant and says, "Today I understand that true strength is not just physical power, but also wisdom, patience, and helping others." Talk about a paradigm shift. This is an incredible realization. The lion is openly admitting that his previous, super narrow definition of power was just flat out wrong. He literally had to be broken down by the trap to build back a much more accurate understanding of the world.
And now, Section 6, the victory of wisdom and kindness.
This is the beautiful synthesis of the source material. We've watched these two opposing forces, the arrogant physical lion and the patient, wise elephant, collide. But instead of destroying each other, they actually merge into a lifelong friendship. The elephant offers this final overarching lesson to his new friend. He says, friendship and kindness are the greatest strengths. He's teaching the lion that empathy and connection will always ultimately triumph over physical intimidation. Think about it. If the lion had just been strong, he would have died in that net. But because he was saved by someone with kindness and wisdom, he gets to live. Kindness isn't weak. It is literally a lifesaver.
And this brilliantly illustrates our newly refined concept, true strength. It's not just one single thing. It is a unified combination of physical capability, intellectual wisdom, enduring patience, and crucially, the willingness to help others through kindness. It's basically a matrix of skills. If you are missing any of these pillars, your power is incredibly fragile, and you are wide open and vulnerable to the traps of life.
So, let's summarize the core takeaways we can pull from this source material today. First, arrogance will inevitably lead to failure when you face complex traps. And let's be real, life is full of complex traps. Second, wisdom and kindness are infinitely more valuable than raw force. They are the tools that actually solve the tough problems. And third, true power doesn't lie in what you can conquer, it lies in how you use your unique abilities to assist others. Replacing your ego with emotional intelligence isn't just a nice, warm, and fuzzy thing to do, it is absolutely the most strategically sound way to live.
Which leaves us right here. I want you to take this question with you as you go about the rest of your day. How will you choose to use your strength tomorrow? Are you going to roar and flex your title like the lion? Or are you going to observe, be patient, apply some wisdom, and lift others up like the elephant? The choice is entirely yours. But as we've seen in this explainer, only one of those paths leads to true, lasting power. Thank you so much for joining me today. Keep learning, keep questioning, and use your strength wisely.